Hello everybody. Welcome back to some more live coding. Today we're going to be looking at NativeScript. So in the past, well, last night we looked at Dart and Flutter. Dart is the programming language and Flutter is the framework that we use. Now, I didn't find anything too amazing about it, but we also looked at React Native earlier. We looked at Cordova for making mobile apps, which allows you to make mobile apps with the web view. So that also allows you to use JavaScript. The big difference there is that with Cordova, you're actually using a web view and you're rendering an HTML document. So it's slow, you don't have native widgets, it is also running in one thread, I believe, and the difference there with NativeScript using JavaScript is that you're actually using native widgets. If you've actually used React Native, it's more like that, where you're writing it pretty much the same, except you're using native widgets and you get native performance. And one of the really attractive things about NativeScript is that you get full access to the underlying APIs. Unlike Cordova, where you had to write a JavaScript plugin to wrap everything that you wanted to do natively, with NativeScript, it's actually available transparently in JavaScript. And so if there's a new version of the Android API, you don't have to wait for NativeScript to update to get access to it. You can access it directly. So let's just start by kind of cruising through their website and get an idea. And so the agenda for today is just to give you an idea so you know what you're can expect for this stream. We're going to kind of check out what it is, why, and alternatives. That's what we're doing right now. And alternatives would be, well, I guess there's a lot of alternatives for mobile apps, but specifically if you are a JavaScript developer, other alternatives that you might be interested in would be React Native and Cordova. Those are other options for JavaScript mobile apps. So, okay, create native. Great. So this is one interesting thing about it is you can use Angular, Vue, or just vanilla JavaScript and TypeScript. So I'm actually going to do the Angular one just because, well, I mean, technically in all of the previous, well, in the previous streams, we've covered all of the other front-end frameworks. We've done React, we've done TypeScript, we've done Vue.js, we've done Angular. So if you've been following along, then hopefully you should have a good idea of how to use each one, at least at a high level. And so one interesting thing is, for Angular, if you were to make a web app in Angular, you'd have your components and you would have the .html file that is the view element of it. Well, what you can do with NativeScript is actually have a repository where you have two view files so you'd have an HTML file for the web view, but you would also have a separate file that had the widgets laid out for your Angular. So here, yeah, they have a video, I guess, that explains it. It's 4 minutes long, but yeah. So yeah, you can see you can share in a mono repo if you have everything set up. You can share your pipes, your services, your directives, all your logic, and you just need two separate component style files. You need the HTML one and the NativeScript one, which is going to be like text view, list view instead of li, stuff like that. So that's really it. And they have a tool for creating a shared project. Yeah, here we go. Creating a web plus mobile shared project. Let's try that. So I should have Angular installed already. No? Okay, so let me try yarn global add ng. Is it ng? Or was it called Angular? No, I don't think that was it. I think it's just called Angular. I'll just make sure it's Angular or Angular 2. Oh yeah, Angular CLI is what I want. npm install globally at Angular/CLI. I think that'll do it. Well, I guess we can, before I start jumping into that, why don't I just kind of go through this page again. So yeah, Angular plus NativeScript equals heart. The NativeScript core team works with the Angular team at Google to ensure NativeScript and Angular are seamlessly integrated. With NativeScript and Angular, a single code base can be used to create web apps and native mobile apps with 100% native performance and power. Direct access to 100% of the native platform API. It's pretty amazing. One skill set, one code base, 3 platforms. iOS, Android, web. Yeah, so here you can see an example of the HTML. This is what you would have in the HTML. And in the mobile, you got Switch. Okay, so TNS is really what I want. Do I have TNS? So I think I need to do npm install -g TypeScript. Wait, was that it? TNS? Oh, I think I need to do npm install -g NativeScript to get TNS. Okay, so now we should have TNS. I guess that is the NativeScript tool, and it looks like it's got some fancy output. Let me try this again. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do TNS less. There we go. NativeScript CLI, TNS commands, alias, NativeScript. Okay. Create. Okay, here's the commands. Create, preview, init. What's the difference between init and create? Initialize an existing project. Creates a new project. Okay, I'm gonna want create. Platform add. So I'm gonna do like create, platform add Android. Build Android. I think I already took some notes on this. Let me check the cookbook. TypeScript? No, nothing about NativeScript in there. How about in JavaScript? No. Oh, it must have been the Cordova stuff that it reminds me of. Okay, so we'll say TNS create. What should we do? An SMS, a GPS tool, another GPS tool, an SMS sender, a Bitcoin price checker. I'm going to call it Angular NativeScript. Let's see, and I want it to be Angular and an app with pre-built pages that uses a drawer for navigation. Sure. Alright, that might take a little minute or two. So I think we can use WebStorm for this one. WebStorm, VS Code might work pretty well too. Okay, it's done. Let's see. Here we go. NativeScript Webpack plugin was successfully added. You can now bundle your project by passing the -- bundle flag. TNS build Android -- bundle. TNS run Android -- bundle. So what about TNS preview? Oh. Yeah, I don't want that. TNS run Android. Oh, it's trying to run it on the watch. So, yeah, Cordova kept trying to run on my TV emulator. This one's running on the watch. Okay. You go away. Oh. Alright. Just turning on my phone emulator. Well, it's good to know that it works on the watch, technically. So let's take WebStorm and open up that project. Close this project. And let's open Angular NativeScript. Source, app. Let's see. App module. So yeah, it looks just like a regular Angular app here. Please specify node. Hold on. Okay. Settings. Where's our main TS? Yeah, so there's the main file that bootstraps everything. App module contains all the core. App component is the high level component. So you got side drawer with a grid layout, stack layout, scroll view with some sub elements. Okay, let's see if we can get it to run. Okay, let's go back to where it was running. Okay, TNS run Android. Now that the phone is running, it should run the phone since it's the only one running. Here it goes, it's loading up. It should say it found a Nexus 5G. After it's done building everything. Gotta wait for all that JavaScript to compile. So while that's going, let's see. I want to go check out what kind of components they have. Okay, documentation. Sample apps, no, let's see. Components is what I want to see. UI widgets, that's what it is. Here we go, here's all the widget components. Okay, yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, this thing's almost done. So you've got a button, a label, okay, no surprises there, text field. Did they not just have like a nice list? A nice summary? Oh, there they are on the right. Does that mean they're at the bottom? Oh, here we go. They're over on the left. Action bar. Activity indicator. Animations. Button, date picker, dialogues. Formatted string. Gestures. HTML view. Image. Label, layouts, list picker, list view, progress. Scroll view. Segmented bar, slider, styling, switch. Tab view. Text field, text view, time picker, web view. So what I don't see here, yeah, layouts. So in the code here we can see that there's a grid layout, a stack layout, grid layout. So with a grid layout, you can have columns and rows. With a stack layout, I think you only have one direction, vertical, to grow. Layouts is the base class for all views that provide positioning of child elements. Absolute layout, doc layouts. Oh, doc layout's kind of nice. Flexbox layout 1, Flexbox layout 3. Justify. Flexbox layout 2, flex shrink, grid layout, yeah. Grid layout is probably one of the most common ones you'll use, and you'll see it in lots of GUI frameworks, even Java ones and C++ ones. The grid layout is a layout that arranges its child elements in a table structure of rows and columns. A cell can contain multiple child elements. Each one can span over multiple rows or columns, and even overlap the others. The grid layout has one column and one row by default. To add additional rows and columns, you have to specify column definition items separated by commas. The width of a column and a height can be specified as an absolute amount of pixels, as a percentage, or automatically. I see, so the star just must mean resize it automatically. Otherwise you can specify certain ones to be certain sizes. And so this is going to have 3 columns and 5 rows, all auto-spaced. Makes sense. Oh. I see, they have a bunch of row spans and call spans. That's why it looks all funky here. Okay. Stack layout is the other one that we just saw in the example. This is the other one that's worth getting familiar with because... Oh, I thought it would go the other direction. Oh yeah, here we go. Orientation equals horizontal. So I guess by default it's probably vertical. It arranges the elements one next to the other, either vertically or horizontally. The direction depends on the value of the orientation property. Right there. Yeah, so stack layout's good if you only have basically one row or one column you want to keep expanding. It's good as a sub-element, as we saw, a sub-element inside of a grid layout. Stack layouts go good inside of other things too. A wrap layout is one I'm not familiar with. A wrap layout is similar to a stack, but it does not stack all child elements to one column or row. It wraps them to new columns, rows if no space is left. I see. Okay, so it's kind of like an auto-expanding grid. I don't like that one so much. There might be some uses for it, but depends. Okay, cool. So that's layouts and the widgets we got. So let's try something like a button and a text message. So, okay. This is our app. And this must be the drawer that they're talking about. So there's a menu, and then there's these pages that we can swap between. So this is a nice little template to get started with. It's already got some routing set up and a menu and everything, so this is actually a really nice template to get started. Rad side drawer is a UI component part of the Progress NativeScript UI set of components. Okay, so the side drawer is the very top level element. Here's the router output. And then this must be, yeah, these are the menu items. So let's say we wanted to just start with one menu item. Let's update that so there's just one menu item, the home one. So now if we go back here, there's just one home. And there's a nice little user and username thing, but we don't need that either right now because we don't really have a need for that. So that's cool as part of the template, but I don't need it. I'm just going to comment that out. And I'll probably delete it later, but for right now I'm going to leave it like that. So we just got our, well, this one I'll delete. And I'll just leave one other button for now. Okay, Control-Alt-L, the format. And then now we can see how clean this looks. And so that's that. Let's go back here. And now, oh, it's too bad. Maybe I should put some kind of space at the top, but now we just got two simple menu items. And we can change the names if we need it, but for now, that's fine. So that's our menu and our main one, and in here we can see that it's doing the routing. And it's routing home and browse. We can find the app routing module, and we'll see all the pages that are linked, and these are the ones we commented out, basically. We can leave them in, though. And so here it's go. Oh, it's interesting how the links work because it's not an actual HTTP URL. So the way it's calling is actually a reference to the file. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the home component, HTML. Oh, it is actually a .html file, even though it's not normal HTML. So here we can see it's the action bar. Use the navigation button as a side drawer button because action items are shown on the right side. I see, so here's an action item on the right. I'm confused, hold on. Use action, oh, for iOS, I see. This one's for Android and this one's for iOS. So since we're not using iOS, I think I can just comment this one out and it'll be fine. So yeah, everything still looks the same in Android. Okay, good. And so yeah, I see here iOS visibility equals collapsed. So hide this in iOS. And on this one it says Android visibility collapsed. Okay. So that's a little cross-platform accommodation. But I'm only doing Android for now, for this tutorial, so okay. Action bar at the top, and the action bar is this thing at the top here with the menu. And then the grid layout is everything underneath it. And it only contains one thing that says, yeah, page content goes here. And it's got this class of page holder, so yeah, there's no CSS. There is CSS. Interesting. So you actually do use CSS? That's pretty cool, actually. I wonder how much CSS works. Like, could you do something like this, where you say page placeholder before content equals, and just give it some text? That would work in CSS, but I don't think it would work in the app. Well, I guess, hold on, let's go back here. I actually give it some text. Oh, oops, I think I put it in the wrong field. Yeah. Yeah, so that, not everything in CSS works, it looks like. But color, font size, vertical align, horizontal align, those all look good. Horizontal align, background color, color height, width, padding, margin. Okay. Okay, so what do we have here? I want to make a button. So we'll do button, and I need to go look up the reference for the button. Button. Dark Coder says, hey, Nano. Hey, Dark Coder. So yeah, they give them like bootstrap classes here, which is interesting. Okay, so this is going to be our button. And the tags, let's say, get GPS coordinates. On tap, I guess we'll say, get GPS, that'll be the name of our function. Create method get GPS. Alright, thank you for creating the signature for me in the right component file. Here, component.js, ts. Get event, and then the event, and we don't really care about the click event itself. We just want to actually trigger click / tap triggered. Okay, so let's see if the console log works. Where did it go? Okay, oh, the button takes up the whole screen. That's okay. Click. Oh, there it is. Good, good. It's in the console. Click / tap triggered. Alright, good. Good, so every time we click it, it triggers something. So we've got the button callback hooked up. That's good. And then, excuse me, I need some water. Okay, so instead of just the button, we actually need a text field too. So Come back here, we're gonna go to text view. Here we go, text view. Okay, so we actually don't have a model yet. Hint. Wait. Is a text view an editable? Oh, I guess I want a label. I don't want a text view, I want a label. Because I don't want people to edit the text, it's just something we're going to use to display text. Okay, so I'm gonna choose text and text wrap. Okay, so the default text is going to say NA, text wrap equals true. Oh, so we're actually going to need to stick in a stack layout to start stacking these things inside of it. Oh, I need to close the label. Okay. Oh, lost it. Come back. Is it crashing? Well, let's try running it again. It shouldn't crash that hard. Okay, so if you want to do binding, you wrap it in the brackets, you wrap text in the brackets. So one-way binding, label with two-way binding. Yeah, we only want one-way binding. Okay, so let's go back here, and so the text, we want to bind it to a model called GPS chords. And so I'll do Alt-Enter, yeah, and it even helps us out. Create field, there we go. And actually I want it to be a string. Okay, so when it's tapped, that's when I want to say GPS, this.gps chords equals new coordinates. And now we can verify that when we press the button, the text updates. And it does. Now you see it says new coordinates, awesome. So here in the constructor, I suppose it's here where we can say GPS chords equals NA, meaning, so we'll put some default text just to let the person know. Oh. Okay, yeah, so NA, now get GPS coordinates. Click, new coordinates, awesome. Now can we, let's try, in our home component, we have this label. This label, why don't we call it ID is chords label. And then in our styles, let's see. I guess we can just put it in our global styles, that's fine. Down here we'll just say the chords. Is that it? Chords label? And we'll say horizontal. Was that it? No, I think I messed that one up. Horizontal align. Horizontal align. Unknown CSS property, but we're using it up here. Yeah, I guess that's not for CSS, it's for NativeScript. There it goes, look, now it's in the center. Awesome. So now it's in the center, we press it, we get the new coordinates. Okay, cool. So let's also try this. Let's say margin. Now, I'm not sure if you use pixels here or not. Yeah, that looked like it worked okay. Let's try 30 pixels. Yeah, awesome. So now there's a little more space around it. Okay, so now instead of just updating it with arbitrary text, let's update it to actually output the GPS coordinates. So let's close a lot of these. Close. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So instead of this, we're actually going to get the GPS coordinates and then update the text. Okay, so there should be a way to access that from the API. NativeScript API geolocation. And yeah, here we go. docs.nativescript.org/hardware/location. That looks like the best resource. Okay, so we have to add a plugin. TNS plugin add NativeScript geolocation. I'm going to open a new one. Go in there and say TNS add plugin NativeScript dash geolocation. Oh, I did it backwards. It's actually, so it's TNS plugin add NativeScript geolocation. So I started using the VI mode in my shell, and when I did that, I realized, okay, the escape and the control bracket are very inconvenient for switching between modes, so I remapped my caps lock key to escape. So now it's really easy to switch between the modes. I don't have to reach for escape or do the control bracket awkwardness. And on top of that, I found that it's actually really easier, like, I don't know if you just saw me a second ago, but it's really easy to swap into command mode, go back a couple words, cut the word, just DW and delete the word, and then W to go forward, and then paste it with the P. And I'm not sure the best way to do that in the Emacs one, but I found it's much easier to operate on the commands when you need to do some surgery. So I've really been liking the VI mode in the shell versus the Emacs mode default. Okay, so it added the plugin. Good, good. Let's go here. So now in our package JSON, we see NativeScript geolocation. And in our NativeScript config, no. So one thing that's going to have to change is the permission. The permissions for Android, here we go. Because when you need geolocation permission, you actually need to request it. So I wanted to see when I added the plugin, did the plugin update the manifest and say, okay, I need that permission? It doesn't look like it did. So I'm probably going to have to change that myself, which is fine. I was just curious, but let's go ahead and try out the code. Oh, here it says requesting permissions. By default, the plugin adds the required permission to Android manifest.xml. Did it? Location, Geo. No, I don't see it in there. Maybe it will do it when it builds. It'll probably do it when it builds. That's why. So I'm not gonna mess with it. Well, that's good then. I don't have to worry about that. After you install the plugin, you can request to use location services in the app with this code. I'm gonna try it without that, and let's see. Get current location. Is there an example? There is. And yeah, button get tap. Boom. I'm just gonna copy that over. Copy that over and take a look. So we've got var location equals get current location, which I need to import. So I'm gonna do Alt Enter, and it automatically found the import. It didn't even have to ask me. It found it in NativeScript geolocation. Good. Get current location. Desired accuracy 3, update distance 10, maximum age, timeout. Okay, those look good. And then when it's done, it's going to call non-arrow function forbidden. Alt Enter. Convert to arrow function. Parentheses are required around parameters of an arrow function. Alt Enter. Fix arrow parens. Thank you, WebStorm and TSLint, for holding my hand. Alt Enter. Convert. Alt Enter. Wrap. What about this one? It's never reassigned. Could be const. I suppose you might be right. Alt Enter. Well, let's see. Alt Enter here. Fix no var keyword. Oops. No, I want convert to const. Oh no, that looks gross now. Hold on, I'm going to leave it like that for a second because I need to actually do something with it. So we're going to say location dot toString, and then we're going to say this dot GPS coords equals. And so to be clear, this is, I'm going to refactor this. So this is not the GPS coords, it's actually the GPS coords message. Or the text, I should say. Yep, do the refactor. Thank you. Changes have been made in home component. Show difference? Hold on, what happened? Oh yeah, save memory. No. Something looks weird. Let's see. Object promise. Oh, let's see. I don't need to do it here. I actually want to do it in the callback. Sorry, is where I want to update the message. So if it came back successfully, then we'll update that to the loc. No, then we do want toString. Okay. And if there's an error, we'll just say this GPS coords text equals error. And then same thing here. If there's an error, we'll just put an error message. And so this here, why don't we say, yeah, convert to let. Fix prefer const. There we go, const. Actually, it says it's never even used, which is true. Let's just get rid of it. Okay, so now we can clean this up and delete all that. So now it should get the real location and then update, but yeah, I'm gonna have to do this weird tab shenanigans because I can't display the messages properly. Alright, let's try this. Run. Let's give it a second to load up. This should be the final... Oh, yeah, see, now I gotta hit tab right as I let this go. Tab, tab, tab. No. Tap, tap. Allow. I think I got it. I would've... Did it work? That's the question. Or is it gonna keep crashing? Okay, get. To continue, turn on device location. Yep. Yes. 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 I can get this. Okay, let's try the settings. Sometimes the settings method works. Settings permissions for the app. Permission. See, I said give it location. Yes, give it location. See, you see how it has this alert in the background? It only and it smushes it when my screen is not on. And the only way to get it is to press tab really, really fast right as this screen goes away. And it's a big hassle. I know it'll work once I manage to click the OK. Did I get it? No, there it is again. Error. Alright, at least I was able to say yes or no. Shoot. Alright, well I give up. I give up on that for now. We got the error message. I'm sure it'll work if I could just get it. Now let's try this actually. Now that I think we have an app that works, let me build it. Let me build the APK and install it on my phone. That's going to be the ultimate test. So it was TNS build Android. I think that was it. Where's my phone? Diddle dip. Okay. It's plugged in. Let's connect it. Okay, here we go. Let's copy that. Go there. There it is. There's our APK. And let's see. I'll Control C, copy it. Oh, I need to say allow this phone access. Okay, go SD card, paste, app debug. Let me delete that one so I don't get confused. Okay, so app debug.apk. Let me install it and test it out. I'm opening my phone. This is a real phone, not an emulator. You can't see it, I'm sorry. Opening my SD card. Alright, I see the app debug APK. It is 46 megabytes. It's actually kind of big. But that's okay. Do I want to install it? Install. It told me it does not require any special... It said it did not require any special permissions. So I'm guessing it's going to ask me for permission when I hit it. Yep, there it is. Now it says, allow. Do you want to allow this device access? I'm going to say allow. Oh, and it said error. Interesting. So it says an error. Oh, you know what? I think I might have messed up here. Yeah, okay, so it's going to do this no matter what every time. What I should have said is else. Else that. So what I want to try here is dash dash release, and I want to see if I build it for release, if that's going to shrink the size a lot. And I also want to see TNS build Android x86. Can I do that? I know it runs x86 because that's what this emulator is. And you know what? This one might have actually worked, and I might have just said error because I had the bad callback. Which is fixed now. Hold on. It doesn't like dash dash release. Dash dash release if set produces a release build. Why didn't it like that? TNS build Android dash dash release. What? When producing a release build, you need to specify all key store options. Okay. Yeah, I'm not signing it, and I don't want to sign it, so I'm just going to do that. Now, actually, now that I have my phone plugged in, I can actually just run it directly on my phone. And I suppose Android Studio might have been the better IDE to use. Okay, so now we've got another APK. I should have ADB grep install. Yeah, I should be able to ADB install and run. No, running is a little harder, but we can install it. So let's go to that directory and let's install it. We'll say ADB install app debug, more than one device, ADB devices, and we'll say ADB install to that one. Let's see. What's the syntax? ADB install device. ADB-S device ID, that's what it is. -S, and I guess that's supposed to be like the serial ID. Wait. Oh, I messed it up, sorry. We'll do -S, copy paste, go to the end, enter. Okay, so this is actually installing on my phone. It's attempt to reinstall. Okay, let's see if that worked. I'm rerunning it. Let me try and uninstall it. It said ADB failed to install, so I deleted it. I might be able to do like a dash force or something. Mythic says he's got to go, but he forgot to say hello. Well, hello and goodbye, Mythic. Okay, this app is installed. I'm running it. It's loading, and there's a NativeScript splash screen, which I'm sure you could change. Get GPS coordinates, allow. Oh, and it just says object. Object. Let me see. I should be able to go. Let me open up Android Studio. Because in Android Studio, I can use Logcat to take a screenshot and show you the phone. But one thing I want to see now is I don't like the way that it asks you. So let's see. How to update splash screen and icon, and also adding Geo Permission. So I want to see if I add that permission into the manifest file, if we can skip the request for permission because they will grant it upon installation. Android manifest geolocation permission. Oh no, that's a Cordova. Well, actually, I think that's gonna be the same. In the Android manifest, I want. Yeah. Find location should encompass what we need. So let's go here to platforms, Android, app source, main, Android manifest, and then in here with the permissions, we're going to add one more permission for the location. And then I want to build it. So let me go back like 10 directories and say tns build Android. And what else? We have the resources and the drawable. Yeah, so here's where you would change the icons. So if you wanted to change the icons, you could do that here. Here's the PNGs you could swap out. And yeah, this must be the... Yeah, there's the splash screen. So you want to swap out logo to change the splash screen, icon to change the installation icon. And I think that's for the splash screen too. Okay, so it's built. Now, I wonder if I can do like a force to force it to reinstall. Well, okay, that didn't work. How about dash reinstall? No. File name doesn't end in APK. Hold on. ADB install force reinstall. You can do ADB uninstall, ADB shell pm clear, ADB uninstall. We have to get the name of the package. Package is NativeScript, anchor NativeScript. ADB uninstall org NativeScript, but I also want to take that, put it there. Will that work? Okay, this should be uninstalling the app from my phone, and it sure did. The app is gone, and we already built it, so let's go ahead and install it. I'm gonna have to say, oh shoot, where did it go? Okay, now this is a cool Z shell thing I'm going to show you. So you can see I need to give it the path all the way up to this long thing here. And we're already in the Angular NativeScript directory, so we want to go all the way up to here into that file. So what I'm going to write out is p/a/b/o/a/d/a, and then I'm going to press tab, and it's going to expand all of that. Boom. That's a cool Z shell feature. You can just type in one letter from each directory and tab it out, and it'll auto expand. Your shell can't do that, can it? Alright. This app is installed. Now I'm opening it up, and I'm wondering if I press this button now to get the GPS coordinates, is it going to ask me for permission? Or did it get the permission already because we set it here? So it's not going to bother asking me. Get? Oh, it still asked me. Allow? And it still says object though. Okay, so let me see something now. Back in our file here, not in this one, component. Okay, so when I say get location, and I say desired accuracy, I don't know if that's a fine location or a coarse location. So let me go back here, and I'm actually gonna put all of those permissions and see if that makes a difference. If I add all 3, is it gonna tell me, okay, now you've got it, you don't need to grant us anything now? But the second thing I need to do to fix this and finalize it is here. I don't want the location. I want the location dot latitude and the location longitude, and I'm going to do a little variable expansion here. Variable interpolation, I think is what they call it. Interpolation. Alright, so now we should get something a little better. And what I want to see now is TNS run Android. Okay, is this going to run on my phone or on the emulator? That's the real question. Oh, it picked the emulator. Turned it off. Okay, it just restarted it. Okay, now the question is it going to ask me for permissions? And it does. Maybe we can get it this time. Tab. Oh, did I get it? I think I kind of almost got it. Get. Oh. Come on. You know you want to let me click OK? No? Okay. Well, let me try one more build. TNS build Android. Oh, interesting. It actually ran it on both of my devices. When I said TNS run Android, not only did it run it on my emulator, it ran it on my phone too. So it actually did all the devices. And oh, I messed up something in the code because it's showing the latitude twice. Yeah, so we got latitude and latitude here. So latitude and longitude. So yeah, that should do it. The app is actually working on my phone. I press the button and I get my GPS coordinates. And it still did ask me for permissions. So these did not seem to make any difference. So I'm just going to leave them out. Now we have a totally unmodified Android manifest file. I didn't have to touch anything in this platforms directory. And so to kind of recap what we did, we started a basic Angular NativeScript app kind of out of the box. And then we modified this layout in particular to have a button and a label. And that is this button and this label here. And in the button, we tied a callback to the tap, which is the equivalent of the click. And then we say, go ahead and get the GPS. And in fact, we don't even need that event because we don't use it. So when the button is tapped, we're calling this getGPS function, which is going to call the geolocation getCurrentLocation, and then it's going to update our GPS coordinates text, which is a property on our component. And when we update that variable, it's automatically going to update this label because we did one-way binding using this bracket. So the text of this label is bound to this variable. So anytime we change that variable, like right here, then it updates the screen automatically. The only thing we had to do in order to get that geolocation plugin, we did have to do tns plugin add NativeScript geolocation. And then that was it. And then we had to import it when we needed it, but otherwise it was just ready to start using. So now we have this button. If I could only click this OK down here without it disappearing, I think it would work. Oh, I got it! Yeah! Alright, oh, but it's still the old code because I had latitude in there twice. But that's what it looks like on my phone. So we can actually change, we can actually go in here and modify our coordinates and press it again. Oh, I have to hit send. Now, if I say get GPS, it should update. Yep. Awesome. So we have another successful app. We demonstrated a lot of important concepts. Installing, adding plugins, building and packaging, installing, the ADB commands, the layouts, the widgets, the button callbacks, the binding, accessing the native API, the permissions. We covered a lot of really important aspects. And so with that, I'm going to call this little project here done. And so if you're familiar with Angular, there's really nothing special going on except inside the HTML file, where instead of having elements like p and div and span, you have a different set of elements to choose from, which are the native elements like label and button and stack layout. There is CSS and even SCSS, and it works like you'd expect it, but there are a few interesting things. Like there's a horizontal align, which is not a regular HTML CSS property, and a couple other things too, but color, background color, padding, things like that all seem to work, and margin, and you can still use the ID and the class system to tag things. So overall, I'd say cool. I like it. I could see this being a nice way to write native apps. Now, is there anything we didn't look at that I want to cover? We did look at the routing a little bit, but because they give you it here, it's pretty easy to delete a path or add a new one. Though the only tricky thing here, the only thing different with regular native Angular, is the actual hyperlink reference. Instead of linking it to an HTML URL, kind of URL, it has this format. But since you've got the other ones, it's pretty easy to copy when you're adding a new route. So nothing too special there either. Otherwise, all total normal Angular stuff. So if you know Angular, and one thing I want to reiterate too is with NativeScript, you don't have to use Angular. you're not required to use Angular at all. In fact, it's probably the most heavy-handed framework to use. But yeah, so it supports Angular. It also supports Vue.js, and you can just use vanilla JavaScript and TypeScript, which is interesting. I want to see how that works. Oh, hold on, the browser froze up. We'll give Ubuntu a second to catch up with the real world. You can do it, Firefox, I believe in you. So what I'm curious with, if you just do vanilla JavaScript, it's still got to do a bunch of bootstrapping. And I guess, are you left with just a single HTML file that has the same kind of widgets in it? Do you hyperlink between the pages in the same way? Oh, come on, what's going on here? Hopefully it'll come back in a second. Well, there wasn't much more I wanted to cover, so if this takes a minute or doesn't come back at all and I have to restart it, it should be okay. This is just a virtual machine. But I'm curious, for those of you out here who may have been watching along, what do you think about NativeScript? If you've used anything to compare it to? If you've used React Native, it's a lot like React Native. I'm pretty sure they use the exact same widgets, and there might even be some kind of code overlap there. Because I think they did talk to the React Native people when they made it. So I think there's a lot of potential there. I really, really like it. Now let me see what's going on with this computer here. Yeah, my VMware is going crazy. I can't really do anything. It's pretty much completely locked up. It says it's running at about 5% CPU. And considering I have 32 CPUs, 3% would be a whole CPU. So it's like 2 whole CPUs. But I've actually got the 64 threads. So each thread is like 1.5% of the total CPU power. Yeah, it's trying to chug along, but okay. It's locked up, and I'm at the end of the thing I wanted to do anyway, so I'll do my little plugs before we go. If you're not already on the Discord, you should come hang out and chat on Discord. Go to devdungeon.com, and in the right sidebar, there is a Join Me on Discord button. You can click that, and it'll bring you to the Discord server, and you can come hang out. Right below that is a link to my book, Security with Go. You can check that out. Subscribe to youtube.com/devdungeon to get notified of the daily live streams, and go to github.com/devdungeon for all of the code examples. And with that, I'm just going to say bye and leave you with my frozen screen here. So thanks for coming out, everybody. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something. I hope you're inspired to go make some mobile apps. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night.